Hello YouTube, welcome to another video by the Geo Scholar. This video is a follow-up on the last video about North Dakota's geography. One thing to understand about the state of North Dakota, it is part of the Great Plains. In particular, it is part of the Northern Plains, the region in the interior of the United States of America, particularly in the central part of the North American continent, or the north central part of the United States of America. That is one geographic factor for North Dakota, is the Great Plains. And one particular thing to understand about the Great Plains, you have little subtleties in the geography from place to place. You know, as mentioned in the last video about North Dakota, geography is in the details. And in this place, there is one thing to consider about North Dakota's portion of the Great Plains, particularly western North Dakota. It consists of a dissected peneplain. A peneplain is a plain with low relief. It's not completely flat, but it has small changes in elevation and relief, and it has somewhat of a rolling terrain, rugged in some places. You know, it's not really a flat plain by any means. And this type of plain has been formed by protracted erosion that has lasted longer than usual. You had the long cycles of erosion that were taking place, forming a peneplain. Peneplain is representative of the penultimate of fluvial erosion. To understand fluvial erosion, you must understand fluvial has a lot to do with rivers, which is fitting because the Missouri River goes through North Dakota, and penultimate meaning nearing the final stages of erosion. And that's one thing to understand about North Dakota, particularly the western part. It's part of the Great Plains, and there are some subtleties in the terrain to understand how they are formed. You have, first of all, North Dakota's erosion and this glaciation, particularly from the central to eastern part of the state, has formed that part of the state. But then you have parts of North Dakota that were never really part of that glaciation, and because of that you have the continued cycles of erosion forming sort of a somewhat rolling terrain, more rugged terrain in the western part of the state. Hence you have the peneplain in the western part of North Dakota, and that's one thing to understand about North Dakota. It's part of the Great Plains, and it's at that part where you had one part of the state that was part of the glaciation, and then you have another part that was not part of it. And so the terrain varies. You have a somewhat gently sloping terrain going from west to east, but you have some differences in the state. And that's one thing to understand about North Dakota and its geography. If you like this video, be sure to check out other videos on this channel. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe.